There we go. That should be it now. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, excellent. Well, the whole intro to the video was a bust there. Never mind. Never mind. I wasn't talking about anything important. How are you today, Queen of Sabotage? I was just reviewing some of the models that we have to look at next after we've finished this current crop. We've got a few more to do. Kinda well. What's up with kinda well? I'm hoping it should be very well. Almost finished the skin on orcs. Okay, that's good. That is good. It could be better. Like I say, we're just reviewing some of the models that we have to look at for the next session after we get these ones done. We have an ogre. We have this one's actually kind of cool. This one is a zombie dragon. It's very small, but I think that's kind of cool. Almost like a baby dragon, but zombified. So that's another one to work on. So we've got the ogre, we've got a zombie dragon. I do want to have a look at doing a few more minions though. So we have the gnolls, but also I have some extremely tiny boys. These are kobolds, and I've actually got a little bit of a selection of these guys. I have done some of these before, so we've got these guys here with the spears and a sort of weird break your own back posing, because the legs are kind of facing this way and the spears are facing that way. So I don't know quite how they proposed that model, but then so basically they came from a couple of different box games. There's some much better quality miniatures. You've got spears, swords, where's the last one, and even a bow. This guy here, and then a leader for them of a magic user kobold. So I think that might be the next little selection of them that get done. There's a few of them there to work with. There's like 8 of them all together. So that will hopefully be a nice little quick batch paint, because they're very tiny. I'll do a lot of them the same color. They're going to be red kobolds, because so far the other set of kobolds that I've done have been red. And maybe what I'll do is, in between working on those, I'll throw something like the Ogre Boy into the mix, simply because that's going to be quite an interesting one to paint. It's a fantastic model as well. It's far better quality than some of these. This is from the Trials of Tempest board game, this one. So yeah, but that's for the next section. So for now, I have also got a Cloud Giant as well primed up. Still needs to be dry brushed, but the Cloud Giant is kind of cool as well. So we'll have a look at her at some point. For now, we are back to our carrion crawlers, kobolds, and the Storm Giant. So we got a decent amount of him done. I'd like to come along and put the where the gold is going to be on his crown, on his van braces, and on his knees. I am thinking about possibly a little bit along here on his what did I call that the other day? I absolutely can't remember. Absolutely can't remember what I called that the other day. I mean, it's his sort of belly plate guard thing. So we'll have a look at that as well. Right. We have our brushes. They're fairly important. We have a lovely tasty pot of water there. It's only going slightly pink, so that's okay. Brushes, a palette. It's time to start some painting. So let's have a look. We've got, what's our priority on these ones? I think what I'm going to do first of all is come along with just a little bit of
This is the future.
Wraithbone and do the claws on the carrion crawler, because I've decided that I don't think I want to go for red claws on them. I think that's probably a bit meh.
This is the future.
Let's have a look if I can mix some of that. So we're going to go with a little bit of race bone here. Bit of water. And then I'm going to pop these to one side. Now I've got to be a bit cautious here because this guy, he was basically highlighted entirely in race bone. So I need to just get that looking right there. So you say you've worked out the orc skin. Hopefully that's the main portion of them sort of done then, surely. There's not a huge amount of those models other than the skin left to do, surely. Right, and then we've got these little claw things underneath. Well, I say little claw things, they're mandibles, aren't they? We'll call them mandibles because that's probably what they are. Oh, I've got my my painting handle. I have got a vampire lady to paint as well, which will be quite nice to paint up.
This is the future. Evolution.
So we paint these mandibles in. I'm not convinced how I'm going to actually do them once they're base coated. I might just try and, if I try and shade them down, they're going to blend in. So I might go back to the idea of the red that I was thinking about. But we'll see. Okay, gives some nice definition on the teeth there. Yes, yeah, that's very true. Very true. I dare say you have still got quite a road ahead of you. Right, let's just have a look at these claws. Hopefully the music isn't too over the top. I've just hit up a sort of no copyright sounds playlist on YouTube, just so there's something to listen to in the background, because I do have to start thinking and being careful about copyright. I get on most videos, I get something going, stop playing stuff from YouTube without permission. I don't think anybody actually cares while the channel isn't monetized, but eventually we will have to look at it, I guess. Sorry, oh they do. Oh they do. Who do? Sorry, I missed that. Not paying attention. Right, there we go. That's one done. Now we'll just pop the other one. Now this one I could probably get away with leaving these claws in the sort of race bone colour. Yeah. Well, I like I say, I've switched to no copyright sounds. I will carry on just playing it off of YouTube for now. We'll figure something out eventually about that. We should be all right with this one, I think. Oh, we should be all right with this one, mostly because it's terrible. So I may well get bored of this and turn it off after a little while, or find something that I'm not going to end up throwing my computer out of the room. Get all of these. They're quite cartoonish, the claws on this guy. In fact, I mean the whole model is a bit of a caricature of a monster rather than anything actually sort of alarming or scary. But they have a certain charm to them that can't be denied, really. And they are board game miniatures, so yeah. They don't have to look like a lictor or something like that when their intended audience are like 8. Mind you, on that note, I'm sure we'll get somebody saying that they are truly terrible miniatures that should have been done so much better. Well, there we go. A small update to your skin colours. Okay. Is this an extra step, or is this you've pared something back so that you don't have to do that extra step? Okay. Oh, so right. Okay, so you've added. I'm guessing you mean you've added a mixed stage to that as well. So as well as your existing 4 coats, you've now added a mixed stage? Yeah, we're going to put the eyes on the end of the stalks, because what self-respecting monster is going to have stalks without eyes on the end of them? It has been some while since I've painted orcs. I do actually have the bones of a 2nd edition 40k orc army, but they were a much different beast to what they are now. Models back then were a much simpler affair, and the yeah, they were very different. Now we have our gnolls. I'd like to try and get something worked out with the fur tones before I tackle the armor, to be honest with you. So what we're going to do is we are going to hit that with a with an orange. I said we were going to go for orange on it. All of the artwork that I've seen for Knowles has them down with orange sort of hair on the backs of their mane. So this is a good opportunity for these guys to come out with their orange. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, I'll keep it pared back a little bit so it's not going to be too heavy, and then I'll just see whether we can feather it a little bit to include a tiny bit of fur from their backs rather than just this ridge, so that it looks a bit wider than what it is. Gives the sort of impression of this being hair rather than, I don't quite know how it looks at the moment. I don't think it's quite right. So just dropped him like that. There we go. It's a nice sort of orange tone there. We'll maybe just put a little bit around his ears. And then we're going to come along and see about doing him with some hyena spots. I'm quite looking forward to the hyena spots, actually. Okay, nice and simple on that one. And now it's time for nice and simple again, and I think the nice and simple on this one is going to be red on the cloak of our storm giant, because this could get messy when we do this. This should hopefully tie us in with the colours of the other one a bit. I'm not convinced. A bit. Okay, nice simple job here of take red, splurge it around. Oh, trying to be really, really careful in places like this that it only goes on the one facing of the model, hopefully. Oh, look at that, we made it. That works. Just about. That works. Now, I'm not going to go in too much detail in there. I mean, you guys can't even see in there, I wouldn't imagine, not with the camera angle and my hand being in the way. Although, when I'm painting it, it does tend to be more of a claw in the way. Right, so that'll do there, and then we're going to come between his legs, phrasing. Just working that paint into the recesses under there. Try not to get it all over everything else. And then it's not looking too bad. We will just edge what we've got here. Our neighbour's dog deciding that we need some accompaniment on our soundtracks. Now, I'm not going to do anything more with that. That is plenty enough to give the representation of the inside of the cloak, and it is just the inside of the cloak as well. But it does just help to tie us in with our red on this guy to get them alongside each other. Like I say, I'm quite gutted that there isn't going to be too much opportunity to put this turquoise colour onto this model. I'm going to do the eyes. I'll do the eyes much the same as I did on this guy, where they are just a white dot with the contrast paint over them. I think what I'm going to do is then in this hand, in his clenched fist, I'm going to paint a little bit of white back in and then come back in with the same blue, just so that it looks like he's got a clenched fist of lightning or something like that. Right, excellent. Now then, I'll pop that one to one side so that the red can dry with him standing up. That way it will sort of, if it needs to, it will drain down. And then we have these guys. Honestly, I'm not convinced with these guys. That purple on the front of them is just so ugly. So ugly. Don't know quite what to do with them. What I might need to do with them is pop a little bit of a highlight on them and then come back with the really sort of high pink, the Magos purple, because that's Volupus pink, and then weirdly Magos purple is actually a lighter colour. I know it looks darker in here, it does look darker, so but that is the lighter colour of the two, because it's just madness. Who would have thunk it? So what I'm going to do is just pop a little bit of white on there. So I had more car repairs to do today. Essentially, it was just a bit of maintenance, but unfortunately what I have discovered is that the mother-in-law's Fiesta is going to need more work. So tomorrow, for the second time ever, I get to get my welder out, which is going to be oh so much fun. And I don't think I'm actually being sarcastic with that. I am actually quite looking forward to it, because it is only the second time I've had a chance to get my welder out since I bought the thing. So that's got to be good for something, right? Even if it's just practice for when I want to do something cool with the welder, rather than just purely, oh, I have to do this. Oh, there is another one in there. I couldn't tell if that was one that was hiding from me or not, but it is. Now I think I'm gonna have to say it. I think the actual sacks might need a bit of, just towards the bottom, just God, just the tip. Yeah, okay. It's full of innuendo tonight. Okay, that's looking pretty disgusting there. So that's probably just about ready, because we all know that disgusting for a monster means it's ready. You've cooked it enough. Just gonna add a little bit of white to the base of these mandibles as well, that when we decide what we're doing with them, we're going to have some options there. And we're also just going to add a little bit of white to the eyes as well. Stay on target. Four orcs left, is it? Is that all that you've got left to do? Right. Let's pick these out of the line up there. So unfortunately last week, with it being Easter, I had to miss out on the D&D session. So the other players with a stand-in DM because our regular DM didn't want to carry on the story with one player missing, which I'm really thankful for, because I hate trying to pick up lost sessions, as it were. So I do try and be present whenever we're going to do our main storyline. But they actually ran a one of the players took on the mantle of DM, and he's done it before. We've had one of his one shots before, and he is very, very good. And he ran a little one shot at level 10. I'm kind of gutted that I missed it, but I am, thankfully. Queen of Sabotage, thank you very much for dropping by. I really appreciate it. You know, it doesn't matter how long you stay, just the fact that you pop by means the world to me. So thank you very much. Go and get a good night's sleep. Go and have a lovely day at work tomorrow. So thankfully I am back at the table on Sunday, and I am properly looking forward to it. We're currently in the middle of a Waterdeep campaign, playing out the Dragon Heist. We've essentially just leveled up, and we are now exploring our newly gifted mansion, which is going to make for some quite interesting opportunities to ruin the DM's life, I imagine, as we become legitimate businessmen. So far, that does appear to have consisted of us working out the best methods. Sorry, Queen of Sabotage, I did miss that. It'll be a crazy day. I need to hire a few people. Ooh. So you have got people in for interviews tomorrow, is it? Well, I wish you the very best of luck. I'm sure that's quite traumatic for everyone involved. Interviews normally, for the interviewee and the interviewer, is normally a real pain. So I wish you the best on that one. Fingers crossed it's a good one. Right, sorry about that. I think YouTube has decided, yeah, video paused. No, in fact, let's not be doing that. Let's go.
I've been flipping pages since I could remember. That told me I had to be within the lines of 2 degrees and 9 to 5, and I've been working after work since.
No, don't want that. Don't know what's going on. That will do us. It's free background music, which is just what I need. Free background music. Excellent. Sorry about the dead air there, but we're back up and loving it. Right, that I'm instantly a lot happier with that, even if I leave it like that, because those buds are, I don't know what they're supposed to be. I'm assuming that they're like a lure to, yeah. Okay, that's they look a lot better anyway. So I am going to hit them up with a coat of something or other. Well, this Magos purple, in fact. Right. Before I do those, I want to hit up our knolls with hyena spots. Now let's have a look at hyena spots. Oh, right. It's as simple as that. They are just black spots. I'm not going to do them in Basilicanum. I'm actually going to do those in Black Templar. Because I want them to have some definition to them. Hyenas could be a little bit lighter than that, couldn't they? Let's just see. Just the most basic dry brushy scratchy shit highlights on there, just to lighten that up a little bit. And the same on this one. Okay. Because natural hyenas are actually quite light in colour rather than quite dark, but that's close enough for now. Right, rinse that brush out. And then we're going to put our little spots on. Now, they do appear quite random. So, let's pop this guy in here so that we don't make any easily avoidable mistakes with him. Well, and so you guys get to see exactly what's happening. Maybe the old camera position where it was down a bit lower was actually better. I don't know. Because obviously right down here, we failed to sort of zoom in on him. The focus isn't quite there for him. Oh. Now we want some random spotty dotties, don't we? So we'll go for a splurge there. Is that too small? That might be too small to be really sort of viewable. So random. We do need a decent bit on the brush in order to get these spots to actually show up. Okay. And then just a little bit on the other side as well. We'll put one on his back there, slightly offset. Now hopefully they are going to dry a little bit more matte so that they're not really bright spotty dotties. Because we want them to look quite random and not like we've drawn them on with a Sharpie. Okay, quite happy with that. We'll just put another one there and then call it done with that guy. Yeah, quite pleased with him. Again, just making sure we've got plenty on our brush in order to dot these out where needed. Oh, nearly. See, I'm drifting off to the side. Stay on target. Okay, that looks pretty good on him as well. We'll just put another one here. There we go. I think they are quite far apart for hyena spots. I think hyenas have a lot more, but if we start going for too many, oh dear, that'll spoil the effect. I'm sure that'll spoil the effect if we start going for too many. Right. And with that, I think our carrion crawlers should be ready to have their, oh god, I don't want to say it, their sacks tickled. If I don't want to say it, why did I say it? Should have just stopped. Didn't need to say that. Right, now let's just do this quite thinly. Yeah, that's properly discussed. I think, even though it's now 9 o'clock at night, one of my neighbours is mowing their lawn. I think they've just bought the house. They're desperately trying to give it a spruce over before I think their tenants move in. Right. I think that looks better than it did when it was just the one colour prior to the highlights. So I'm going to be quite sparing with this. I want them to look quite sort of white and stark, almost sort of rich, because I imagine they're there as lures, so they need to look probably tasty, because that's how lures work. You lure them in by it being delicious. Delicious and tasty. I don't know if you guys can actually hear any of the background music because it is down very, very low. Just trying to get a there we go, that's looking all right. What is... Oh, I've just seen the weather forecast is telling me I'm to expect light rain tomorrow. Which means my adventures with the welder are probably out. Because quite frankly, I'm not risking that. Right, sorry about that. So back to the mission at hand. The mission at hand calls for wildwood, our unfortunate wildwood. One of my favourite colours that unfortunately I spilt. I spilt it the other week. So gutted. Right, now then. This is where we start to get some real... Because at the moment everything is, apart from this quite nice lighter brown that we've got, everything on him, apart from the red that we've just done, is all just sort of grey, various shades of grey. Not going there, nope. There's nowhere near 50 of them, and we're not that kind of channel. See my OnlyFans link in the about below, and you can have your 50 Shades of Grey stuff there. That is a joke for any of you sensitives there. Yeah, of course it's a joke. I don't even do that on my OnlyFans. This is such a lovely brown. So we'll get this belt done. There are his van braces and greaves to do, which have also got this brown in them. And then I think we should probably dedicate a little bit of time to that torch, because I think getting that looking right is going to be the make or break of this model. Because it's quite a dominating thing on this model. It's right there. It's a big cloud of smoke coming off of it as well, so it's quite a large and in-your-face portion of the model. Got to make sure that that looks right, otherwise the whole thing will look off. Right, there we go. That's his belt done. Now we've got these wrappings up here to do. And I wanted all of these to be in pretty much the same colour. Unfortunately, this guy won't fit my painting handle. The base is too big, and I don't want to go out and buy the big boy painting handle. For one, I'm not a massive fan of painting handles. I've tried for some time, but I should really just bite the bullet and stick him on top of a paint pot or something like that. Just sitting here, keep holding his head, and eventually something's going to rub off on me. Okay, that looks pretty good there. And then we've got his... Did I just paint one of the other models behind? Hopefully not. And then we've got these leggies to do. Probably about as far as I'm going to be able to get around there, so I'll call it quits there. Now, as I've said a couple of times this week, I am trying out. I've booked a week off work. The number of work phone calls that I've answered appears to have been no less than what I might get during an actual week when I was at work, but still, technically, I have the week off. I've been trying out what is the best days for me to stream, because currently I do Friday through Tuesday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then have Wednesday and Thursdays off. I would like to make sure that I'm doing the right thing by streaming on those days, by trying to judge whether or not I get a better response this week when I stream every single day of the week. So that's why you are seeing me on a Thursday. And you may not have seen me on a Thursday before. In fact, I know you haven't seen me on a Thursday before, because this is, I think, the first time I have ever streamed on a Thursday. Woohoo! This is my Thursday streaming cherry, guys. So far, yesterday was quite a good day. Today has been okay. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more activity in the last hour. I am being quite, even though I've got a week off work, I am being quite careful to keep my streams a similar sort of length to what they would normally be, so that I'm not skewing the metric. There we go. I was actually kind of dreading that leather work, but that went really well, so excellent. Right. Now I do have some highlighting work to do on the whites of this guy. We'll be looking at that shortly. Now, while I've got it out, phrasing, not like that, pop him to one side to dry. Let's have our knolls back, because we have got on these guys, we've got some woodwork here. These plates and what have you, I feel that they would probably be leather rather than metal. But I don't know what colours to do them, because if I do them all the same, if I do them all in this wildwood, which I say I do love me a bit of wildwood. Let's do his handle. We'll do the handle of his axe. And then we're going to do all of these straps and what have you, I think. So we'll keep it quite simple. We're going to sort of even paint in detail that isn't quite there yet. If you get me. And then we're going to pull that all the way around to the front here, and that panel is going to become almost sort of undershort, well, quite undershorts, but you know what I mean. Although that is see, that's part of the problem with the way these models are sculpted. They're old school sculpting, so of course they needed to be sculpted in order so that they could be removed from a mold. Because it has changed a little bit in the last 20 years since these guys were made. 2003 these ones date from. I don't know whether to do these wraps at the bottom of his legs. Only really get that tiny little bit there and that bit there. Nope. Careful. And we'll do the same on this guy. Right, just the tiniest little bit more detail to go on these guys. There we go, and then that's paint. That is technically that's painting in things that don't exist, but I think we'll get away with it just this once. I keep flicking them everywhere. I am tempted to maybe do their armor like a stained leather, like a colour. Don't know. I think it's high time we highlighted. Did it? High time. High time we highlighted our. Oh, just smash everything about there. Why don't we? Lovely. We've got our king here now. I did say that we were going to try and work something out about his fire, didn't we? So let's try that. Let's try to work something out with this fire. So we're going to start off with the very brightest yellow we can. We're going to start off with Iyanden yellow. But Iyanden yellow is just really just sitting down here in the recesses. Now, unfortunately, due to the way that we've painted this with the zenithals work excellent for everything except fire. Because with fire, technically, you put your hottest colours, the whitest colours, the lightest colours at the base for most fire painting. So consequently, what we've done here is we've actually set ourselves up to fail a little bit with the way this paint will be viewed. I don't really know of any solution for that. I don't quite know what we would choose to do about it. Is there anything we can choose to do about it? I don't know that there is. Okay, well, we're going to see how we get on with our yellow in the deepest recesses. If needs be, I can come back and repaint the whole thing, including what I would have to do is to rebase it, but without the zenithal. So this whole area would need to be rebased, which is not too much of an issue, but I'd rather not if we can. I don't think the fire would make it up that high, but we'll work around that. Same here. I mean, there's every possibility that this just ends up coming out like a giant soft serve, and we all look a bit of a prick. I mean, not you guys. You guys get off pretty lightly, to be fair. For some reason, SavedBot is determined that I'm painting an orc shaman. Don't know why. Not sure what its plan there is, but it's certainly wrong anyway. Oh, let me just sort something out. Hold on. Apologies for that, folks. Right, we're back in the room. So, not 100% sold on that, but as we start to work some yellows, tiny bit of red, and then into greys and blacks, and then weirdly enough back up to white, hopefully that should come good. Right, I'm going to break out the other yellow, and while we've got this out, we're going to do some of our golds. I still can't decide what I called his like belly armor yesterday. It wasn't a girdle. I'm sure it wasn't a girdle. But oh shit. Let's just see if we can work this up. Don't think I've left that wet enough for blending, but just trying to maintain the individual shapes of these sort of billows so that it will hopefully look more like fire, like defined as fire, rather than soft serve. It's looking quite ice creamy at the moment. Yes, I know. I know it is, but we will hopefully fix that with Photoshop. No, I mean we'll fix it with paint. We'll fix this just nice. It will all come good in the end, like a big happy accident or something. Okay, so that's actually not looking too bad right now, but these are supposed to be, this is supposed to be smoke and not flame, so the rest of that is going to need to be, I don't think there's going to be any red in there. I think it's going to go straight to grey and black from there on out, and most of that is therefore actually going to get covered up. Right. However, we do still have a use for... Oh, bloody hell, nearly lost it there. Do still have a use for our yellow, which is to paint in these bits. We want these to look gold. A very, very saturated gold, actually. This yellow makes for a wonderfully saturated gold. Probably didn't need to do these bits, but silly me wanted to break up the silver on this thing a bit, but I don't think it actually needed it now that I've done it. I think they just look a bit silly. Oh well, they're done now, and as we know, no backsies. We don't go back and repaint on this channel. There's no time. Anyone to be doing a job twice. So we don't acknowledge our mistakes. Well, no, we can acknowledge our mistakes. Acknowledging our mistakes is fine. It's just we're not actually going to do anything about them, which is actually probably pretty terrible life advice. But if you are coming to a Twitch miniature painter for life advice, then something somewhere has taken a wrong turn for you, my friend. I mean, honestly, if I can help you, then yeah, shoot away. Ask anything you like. But I will give you an honest answer if I can't, and that is, I don't know. Right, a little bit of gold. Come up quite nice, actually. Maybe it was girdle. Maybe girdle is the word I was looking for. I'm sure it wasn't girdle. There was something else. I came up with a la-di-da fancy name for it that was right, and I can't remember what it was. Okay, there's his crown. Okay, there we go. That's one. Oh, just try and get that little bit in there where the contrast hasn't quite taken. And then finally, oh no, just make sure we get the last little bits in there. And then finally we've got this vambrace up here. See, vambrace, that's a word I'm cool with. That's great. I can do that. I just can't remember what I call these belly plates. Excuse me one moment while I let the cat out. Not a euphemism. Goodbye. Oh, there we go, folks. I am back again. Grinding middle Haxu. The names of these bots are becoming more and more special. Right, nearly there. It does amaze me that we are in the state of today's society where somebody, a nice person, has created a bot to help detect and ban the bots that a nasty person has made to spam your channel. So we're already in the bots fighting bots era of whatever sci-fi horror story we've decided we're going to play out. Okay. There we go. There's not actually that much left to do on him. I've got to highlight the white. And I've got to finish the fire. And I need to do something to make him stand out. So the metal will get a coat of Agrax. I'll try and get his eyes looking nice, but I need to figure something out on the guy because he's just not quite there. Not quite there. Yeah, it's awkward, isn't it? Yeah, we've got a little bit to do on him. Not a lot, but we do have a little bit to do on him. So, shoulders are starting to give out. So the next thing we are going to do on him is to paint our white. We're going to come along and highlight up all of this white on him. Is it just me, or I hate when people say that. Is it just me? No, of course it's not just me. I wouldn't possibly be the only person who's noticed if it was a real thing. Corax White is not quite white. It's got a very grey tinge to it. I don't know whether I'm seeing something that isn't there or not, but it certainly comes across as very grey when it's sat there when I unload it onto the palette. Right, that's his skirt done. Now we have a bit of material here to highlight up, so we're going to be quite brutal with it. It's going to be a quick and dirty highlight thing here rather than subtle and measured. Very quick and dirty white highlights. I don't really like doing this, but that is what I have been reduced to with this one, because obviously the original Zenithal highlights that we put on actually worked against us a little bit with these cloaks, because Zenithal highlights on white aren't brilliant, because the white it kind of hard to explain, but it just ends up with a very grey, patchy look to it. So yeah, we're coming along with this quick and dirty highlight, and hopefully it's not going to be too terrible. but we're not going to be able to, because it's cloth, we're not just going to be able to stick to do an edge highlight. Because of this soft detail, we are going to have to actually work it towards the ridge lines and what have you. And in some way that actually helps to put a bit of texture into the cloth. But these ridges are quite soft because of the way it's modelled. Okay, that'll work on that. And that's the sort of effect that we end up with. There's a very light texturing to it. It's not perfect, but whatever is. Let's keep our paint fairly liquid there. Stay on target. Trying to keep these bits very, very feathery, very small, so they don't overpower anything there. And then come and work back down the other side of it. So we've got sort of both sides of a ridge there. On this side, and then work our way down the other side. And we'll just keep working our way across the cloak as if this wasn't a massive ball ache. Oh my god, Cat, one day when you get put outside, you're going to have to stay outside. Come in. She does love it in here. There's lots of places for her to sort of snuggle down for an evening, and she's free of the boy cat because the two of them don't really get along, because he's a bit of a scatterbrain and she's a very timid cat. I swear with him, if it wasn't a case that I knew it didn't happen, I would swear that he'd been dropped on his head as a baby. I think what I would have been better to do is to trace out where the actual lines are going to go first, and then I would know where I need to work to, wouldn't I? Like that. Another one there, one here, and this one sort of stops about there. This one, however, carries on all the way down to here, where there's another one that picks up there. Okay, can work something around that, I guess. Right, so we need to not sold, but I'm also not 100% against it, which is, I suppose, the ultimate in compliments in my head. Oh, well, I don't 100% hate it. Oh, brilliant. Well, that's almost like a ringing endorsement then, isn't it? No, no, it's not. Oh, nearly there with this guy. Right, now that's way too big an area to, so let's do that, and then we'll link in like so. Now, this is way larger at scale than that technique would normally be done, but I'm really happy with that, to be fair. I'm not going to argue against it because it does kind of emphasize the cloth look that I was going for, so bonus, I guess. Right, we've got just a bit left around here. Oh, stay on target. Now what I might have to do is I might actually have to come back and do a second layer of these. Obviously if I'm careful to keep it quite fine, it shouldn't change the texture of them too badly. with the way the paint is thinned, it might be a bit too grey still, so I might need to just come back and whiten them up a bit. Okay, nice scratchy highlights. Oh, sorry camera, I'm just going to wiggle around there for a minute. I'm kind of purposefully going over the edges of these ones just to close up the pleats in his skirt, if you like, because I think they look a bit too big, and then that's therefore making the highlight look a lot more grey. Come along and just glaze it down to the bottom there. Okay, there's a couple of spots in there that I'm not entirely happy with. As I said, I was probably going to need to come back and do a second coat of these fairly scratchy highlights. I don't want to spend a million hours on this because it's not my painting style, but I'd like to try and put some texture into that cloth, and I think this crisscross sort of motion does that. Albeit it's not very subtle. It looks a bit better when the camera focuses properly, but there we go. Right, I just need to do this arm now, so make sure I've got a bit of water. This arm is quite different because it's almost like the sculpt is the sculpt is actually completely different. I'm not convinced that this should have been cloth, but that's what we've painted it as, so I'm going to stick with it. Just going to try and leave the bottom of these creases with the original grey in it. I think that's possibly the nice thing that I have noticed. That's probably the only nice thing that I've got to say about Corax White, is because it's got that almost hint of grey to it. When you build it up, it's almost like it it gets whiter the more that you build it up. I don't know if that's actually a thing, if that's how it's designed, or maybe I'm just imagining it. Maybe that doesn't happen at all, but that's how it feels. Oh, trying to get an angle here with the base in the way. Sorry, that's going to make for terrible camera angles, but that's fine there. And then I'll just fudge it here because I don't actually know what is supposed to be going on with this sculpt here. Unfortunately, with these models, you kind of get used to that, where you end up painting detail that isn't actually there, or painting in to make up for the fact that it's not actually there. I'm definitely going to need to put a little bit more on this. I'm going to try and keep it quite thin though. So I think that he's going to look quite fitting counterpart to his brother, who I am convinced with his brother that his brother is a walking, talking athletics advertisement. I don't know, I just feel like he should have the Nike tick on him or something, or a okay. Well, would you look at that? We've already overshot our time, which is unfortunate because I was quite looking forward to finishing this guy. But I am going to call an end to the stream after I've finished this bit of white here. Reason being is, like I say, I need to try and keep the same sort of routine so that I can gauge what is the best night for me to do this. At the moment, it's looking quite promising for actually bringing Wednesdays into the stream. I don't know about Thursday. We will have to have a look and see as to how we do over the weekend. Speaking of which, if you've liked any of the stream today, I do encourage you please to hit the follow button. It's very much appreciated. It helps me to grow the channel with every new follower that we get. And also, you'll obviously get Twitch notifications for when we go live, which will be a big help to you in coming back to see me when I'm next on, if that's your preference. Obviously, I'm not fussed if anybody chooses to have those notifications off. That's entirely up to you. I know that some days you'll look at your phone, oh God, not again. But it does help me if you have those on. And of course, if you click on the go live notification. I will be back tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening is going to actually be a long stream. We are going to kick it out on Friday night. I'm going to grab a few beers. I've had all week off work, but unfortunately I haven't been able to have any late nights because technically I'm always at work. Because one of my teams can phone me up at any time, even when I've booked time off. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. However, Friday nights are me time. So we're going to kick it out tomorrow. On that note, let's just use up the last of this white. There we go. I think that they are looking pretty swished together. He looks a lot paler. There's not an awful lot that I can do about that, and unfortunately I think, even though it's a really, really pale light colour, I think it's the lack of blue on him. Hopefully when we get a bit more on the flames done, that will start to make him look a bit better. And of course I do need to go over and agrax all of the gold, all of the gold and all of the silver. So we'll agrax all of that, get that all blended in, and probably do a little bit on the fire as well. But there we go. That's our two Storm Giant brothers, Sporty Spice and well, I mean build wise Ginger. But yeah, okay. Thank you very much for everybody who's dropped by, and I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.